2024 has been a very disappointing year for Bolton Wanderers. The Whites lost 2-0 to Oxford United in the League One playoff final, and the form of the team throughout 2024 has been absolutely embarrassing. Manager Ian Evatt, who has split opinion amongst fans, has come under intense pressure as it looks like the Whites will not be going up this season. And Bolton have seriously splashed the cash as well this summer, bringing in John McAtee for over £1 million, spending 700 grand on Shabby Sean, and also bringing in serial promotion winner Jay Matete on loan. And any long-time subscriber to the channel will know I am actually a Bolton Wanderers fan. If you follow the community section over on my channel, you will see me complaining about Bolton in there every single weekend, and I just cannot bear to watch my club languish in League One for another season. So today we are jumping into FC25, we're taking charge of Bolton Wanderers, and we are going to win them a Champions League trophy. And if you do enjoy the content, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, as we are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Let's now jump into FC25 and get this Bolton rebuild on the way. So this is the Bolton Wanderers team we have loaded into in FC25, and this team is looking far too good for League One, and that is not me being biased. This squad absolutely has to get promoted this season. As anyone who knows lower league football will tell you, attacking options like Dion Charles, Aaron Collins, Victor Adebayo and John McAtee is just far too good for League One level. Given the fact that we are currently 14th in real life, I think that's an absolute disgrace. So I think it's fairly apparent that the squad absolutely has to go up this season, and we definitely will have one of the better squads in League One in FC25. However, I'm not really a fan of the 5 at the back formation, so this will be getting changed. So after having a mess around with the team, we have decided on going for a back 3 of Johnston, Santos and Toll, which in my personal opinion is very strong for League One level. We'll then have a 5-man midfield consisting of 2 wingers, Sean and Osei Tutu, with Matete, Sheehan and Thomason in the middle. And for the start of the season, we are going to go with our 2 highest rated strikers, Dion Charles and Aaron Collins. And I do think this squad is very, very strong and should be getting promoted in Season 1. And in Season 1, we will be hampered by not being able to make any signings, as the transfer windows will be disabled in Season 1, meaning we are stuck with the players we have got until at least Season 2. So the starting 11 is more than good enough to get promoted in my opinion. The bench is where we really do shine. For League One level, we have got so many good options like John McAtee, Victor Adebayo, Carlos Mendes Gomez and Dacus Cogley to bring off the bench to swing a game in our favour. And I really struggle to see many teams in League One having a stronger bench than that in FC25. And we haven't really looked too much into the youth academy so far in FC25, but this rebuild is where it changes. We're kicking things off with an absolutely incredible youngster in our youth academy in Zachary Bowman. He's 17-year-old, 65 rated, and he's got potential from 75 to 94, which is really, really good. We are going to promote him straight to the senior team and send him out on loan for 2 seasons. And we cannot make any signings in Season 1, but we do have a lot of contracts expiring, and we can use the £3 million that the board have given us to renew contracts and get some youth scouts out there to bring youth players to the club. So we've just put the finishing touches on our tactic for the Bolton rebuild, and this is how it's looking. We've got 2 ball-playing defenders and a stopper, 2 wingers, a box-to-box midfielder in Matete, a playmaker in Thomason, where Sheehan will be a deep-line playmaker in the centre defensive midfielder role. We will then have Charles and Collins as advanced forwards. Our build-up style will be short passing like Bolton interpret in real life, and we'll also have a balanced defensive approach. If you want to analyse this tactic any further, feel free to pause the video and look. So as we've already discussed, Bolton do have a bit of a problem in Season 1. They've got some key first team players out of contract like Nathan Baxter, Ricardo Santos, Josh Sheehan and Josh Dacus Cogley. We're going to take some time now to renew every single player's contract, and that'll probably leave us with no money left in the bank. So I don't really think there's anything left for us to do in Season 1 other than simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. We've pretty much covered everything we can do without making any signings, and I'm just hoping to see Bolton in the Championship at the start of Season 2. So we have arrived at the end of Season 1 and we have been promoted to the Sky Bet Championship, finishing 2nd in the League One table on 93 points, scoring 104 goals. Birmingham were the runaway league winners. They've got 108 points. They've still got a game to play, but all that matters is Bolton Wanderers will be in the Championship in Season 2. However, in the FA Cup we did reach the 3rd round proper, which is a really good achievement for any lower league side, but ultimately we found Southampton to be a class above as they levered us 5-1. So all we cared about in Season 1 was getting promoted, and we managed to do so, and this is the squad that has done it. We've had some really good growth from the entire team, mainly from players like Baxter, Johnston, Toll, Thomason and Sean, and I do think going into the Championship we have got a pretty good chance of staying up in Season 2. However, we do need to make some signings. I'm thinking we need to bring in a right midfielder to replace Osei Tutu, as at 25-year-old and 68 rated, I do think we can do much better. Also, Jay Matete's loan will be expiring and he will be returning returning to Sunderland. He's 68 rated and 24-year-old. We're not going to be making that deal permanent, so we will be in the market to bring a new central midfielder and right midfielder to the club. And we did make 3 outgoings in season 1. Joel Coleman, who is one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen play for Bolton, has left the club for Bristol Rovers for 150 grand. Scott Arfield's contract has expired and he will join Racing Club on a free contract. And we also sent Zachary Bowman out on loan to FC20. However, this man's loan will be getting cut short and we are going to integrate him into our starting 11. And to integrate Bowman into our starting 11, there will be a small change in formation. We will be changing to a 3-4-1-2 with a centre attacking midfielder instead, swapping Sheehan out of the team for Bowman, and we are going to go with a slightly more attacking approach in season 2. And at the start of the video, I did say how strong I thought Bolton's attacking options were for League One, and it has shown in FC25. Dion Charles scored 36 goals and 9 assists in 51 games. Aaron Collins then chipped in with 33 goals and 12 assists in 53 games, which is just absolutely crazy. So season 1 was absolutely outstanding. We're now getting into season 2 and my main goal is just survival in the championship. So we've arrived in season 2 and our first in the championship, and we have got a £13 million transfer budget, which I think is actually a pretty decent budget. So for our first signing of this Bolton Wanderers rebuild, I do want to make a big statement to the rest of the championship, and we have noticed that Jessurun Raksaki is available for transfer from Crystal Palace. He is 22 years old, 73 rated, didn't have the best loan spell with Sheffield United in game. However, his stats look great. He's got 4-star weak foot and a few play styles, and the max Crystal Palace are going to ask for him is 5.3 million, meaning he falls well into our price range, and I think he'd be an amazing signing for Bolton. And first signings don't get much better than this. Raksaki is in for £5 million, which I think is a steal. However, we are now left with just £7 million to bring in a central midfielder. Now, before we make another signing, we have had quite a few player departures. Kicking things off, Josh Dacres-Cogley has joined Cardiff City for £1 million. Dan Unlundulu has joined NAC for 500 grand. Nelson Kumbeni has joined Groningen for 240 grand. Max Conway has joined Dynamo for 230 grand. Gethin Jones has joined Swansea City for 620 grand. And Connor Carter has joined FC Blaauwys 370 grand. Meaning we have now got £9 million to bring in a central midfielder. And I am so glad we've managed to recuperate quite a bit of transfer budget, boys, as we have identified an absolutely outstanding midfielder who is actually affordable to us right now, and that is Lucas Bjergvall of Tottenham Hotspur. He is 19 years old, he's 72 rated. The stats are so good for such a young midfielder. He's got plenty of play styles, one of the highest potential central midfielders in the Premier League, and we can get him for a maximum of £6 million. We have absolutely got to bring Bergvall to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium, because I think this would be the perfect central midfield signing for us. And what an unbelievable signing this is. Bergvall joins us for just 4.7 million, which is a steal, lads. And after the signings of Raksaki and Bergvall, the team is looking so good on paper. The only player under 70 rated in our starting 11 is Zachary Bowman, but he has got so much potential. He could be one of the highest rated players in the actual team by the end of the season, and I'm genuinely so excited to see how this team gets on in season 2. Now, our bench is once again looking pretty strong. We've got 2 pretty good backup strikers in McAtee and Adebayo, good backup wingers in Mendes Gomez and Osei Tutu, a good central midfielder in Aaron Morley, who's still growing. We've also got Randall Williams and Chris Farino in there for defensive cover, and even looking to our reserves, players like Luke Southwood, Josh Sheehan, Forrester and Dempsey can all come in and do a job if needed. So after the signings of Raksaki and Bergvall, we're left with £3 million in the bank, but we do have some player contracts to renew. We need to bring some youth coaches in and also get our youth scouts out looking for some good young talent, so I don't think there's going to be any more incomings at all in season number 2, and I'm also not expecting any outgoings either. And after renewing a fair few contracts, we've only got 550 grand, so our transfer window is now definitely finished. We are now going to be simulating forward straight through to the end of season 2, and I just want to see Bolton survive in the championship. Oh, so close, man. So close. We've arrived at the end of season 2, boys. We've finished 7th in the championship. We were just 1 point off finishing in the playoffs, unfortunately. Preston do still have a game to play. Cardiff have finished on 69 points. Literally so close to getting into the top 6 in our first season back in the championship, but the glaring issue I can see here, conceded 63 goals this season, and despite finishing 7th, we actually finished with a -1 goal difference. That just says to me we have got to improve the defence heading into season number 3. And to add to an impressive season, we did get to the 5th round of the FA Cup, where unfortunately we came up against Premier League Everton and they beat us 2-1. Well, this is how our starting 11 is looking at the end of season number 2, and it is night and day compared to the team that we started with. Our standout players are George Thomason, Herson Raksaki and Lucas Bergvall, all 75 rated. There is no one in the team lower than 71 rated, and Ricardo Santos is our lowest rated player. If we take a look at the bench, we've had a lot of growth. Morley's reached 70 rated, McAtee's reached 70 rated, so the squad is continuing to develop at a nice rate. But where do we need to improve the team in season number 3? Well, it's obvious we conceded far too many goals. Have to bring in a centre back to replace Santos heading into season number 3. And if I have any leftover money, boys, Dion Charles is now 30 years old, and listen, I absolutely love the man in real life, but he's not going to grow much higher than 73 rated. We need to bring in a younger, high potential striker who can fire us into the Premier League, because Charles is going to start decreasing in overall very soon. And Aaron Collins this season was our best player, getting 21 goals and 10 assists, followed by Charles, whose goal expenditure has massively fell. He scored 36 in League One last season. He's only managed 12 in the Championship with 2 assists, probably rectifying the fact that we do need to replace him in season 3. So season 2 in turn has been an absolute massive success. 1 point outside of the playoffs in our first season back in the Championship. That is a brilliant season. We just now need to get the signings right in season 3, and hopefully we can actually get into the playoffs this time. So we have arrived in season 3, and boys, we've been shafted. We have only got £7 million in the bank. So we are kicking off our transfer window with 4 outgoings to try and recuperate some transfer budget. Kicking things off, fringe defender Chris Farino has joined Birmingham for 1.1 million. Josh Sheehan has lost his place in the first team and is joining Coventry City for 1 million. Luke Matheson has joined Sivasspor for 650 grand. And the sale that hurts me the most, we have sold 30-year-old Dion Charles to Getafe for 3.5 million. He has been an absolutely unbelievable servant for Bolton Wanderers. I absolutely love the guy, and as much as it pains me to say it, he is just not getting us into the Premier League, so we've had to sell him while we can. This now means we have a slightly more respectable 14 million in the bank, so we may just be able to get a centre-back and striker after all. And now that we've finally got some decent money to play with, we're going to be going in for Callum Doyle of Manchester City. He is 22 years old, he's 76 rated, his stats are absolutely great, but his contract is expiring in 12 months time, meaning we can get him for below his market value. City are going to ask for anywhere between 5.5 and 9.2 million. I'm just hoping that they ask for the latter. And we have got our man Callum Doyle is in for just 6.5 million, which is such a good deal. However, that leaves us with just £5 million in the bank, so bringing in a striker could be difficult. And thankfully, boys, we have actually won our pre-season tournament, adding 2.65 million to our transfer budget, and this could not have come at a better time. And we now have 8 million to try and bring in a striker. And boys, we have actually signed a striker who looks really good, and I have never used this guy before in a rebuild. Manchester United striker Ethan Wheatley is in for £4.4 million. Trust me, this guy looks like the perfect replacement for Dion Charles. He's 20 years old, 72 rated, 6'2", showing great potential. He's got great shooting stats, great dribbling stats. He's got 4-star weak foot. Looks like a really good player. However, this man has got massive boots to fill, as Charles was a major fan favourite. And after the signing of Wheatley, we've got less than 1 million in the bank, meaning our transfer window is definitely now finished. And after the signings of Wheatley and Doyle, this will be the Bolton Wanderers team to take us into season 3. It's looking so strong on paper, boys. We are getting there. We're definitely getting there. And I am full of confidence that this team can definitely get into the playoffs this season. So let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 3 and hopefully we have got into the playoffs. Lads, I suggest you pack your bags, because we are off to the Premier League with Bolton Wanderers. We've won the Championship on 102 points, winning 32 games, scoring 91 goals, and for the first time since 2012, Bolton Wanderers are back in the Premier League. However, our FA Cup run ended in the 3rd round very bizarrely, as we lost 12-11 on penalties to Leeds. But I couldn't care less about that. Let's look at the Bolton team that has won the Championship, and looking at this team on paper, it's clear to see why. The squad is full of Premiership quality players like Bergvall, Thomason, Bowman, Wheatley, Raksaki and Doyle. Unfortunately, we have had 2 injuries to Sean and Toll, who are probably going to be 2 players that we look to replace when we get to the Premier League. We are going to be bringing in a new centre-back and a new left midfielder. Going into season 4, we need to really solidify the defence. So there may even be 2 new centre-backs, maybe even a new goalkeeper. I'm not 100% decided just yet what I want to do. And I cannot lie, lie, Aaron Collins in this rebuild has been absolutely insane. He's got 29 goals and 8 assists. I think that means he's scored over 20 goals in every season so far, which is just a joke, to be honest. However, Ethan Wheatley came in and he filled Charles' boots massively, scoring 27 goals and getting 4 assists. And I've got one final bit of news, boys. Randall Williams will be leaving the club at the end of the season, as we have chosen to not renew his contract. And we will also be promoting 2 academy players to the first team. Nathan Charles has been promoted to the first team. He's got 81 to 87 potential and he is a centre-back. And Dexter Manning will also be promoted to the senior team. He's got 78 to 84 potential. So we've arrived in season 4 and we are in the Premier League, but we've only got 53 million in the bank, which I can't lie, I am pretty disappointed with. So as we simulated through to season 4, I did have a little bit of a thought, and I was thinking we are going to need an absolutely quality goalkeeper in the Premier League, otherwise teams are just going to ship goals past us. And I am going to bring a man back to Bolton who was on loan here for 18 months, stole the hearts of Bolton fans, and is actually, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper Bolton Wanderers have had since Jussi Jääskeläinen, and that man is James Trafford, currently playing for Burnley. He is 80 rated, 24-year-old, got really nice stats, and he is in the final year of his contract, meaning we can pick him up for below his market value. He is absolutely adored by all Bolton fans, and if I ever get a chance to bring Trafford back to Bolton, I'm always going to take it. And James Trafford is back home where he belongs for just 17.5 million. And after bringing Trafford home, we have got 34 million left in the bank. Given the fact our transfer budget is not the best this season and we do need to be competitive in the Premier League, we have dipped into the free agent market and brought in an absolute gem. 76 rated 18-year-old Sam Dodds, brought in on a 5-year deal. He's showing great potential, only cost us 20 grand a week in wages, and for such a cheap signing he comes straight into our starting 11 and has actually got really good potential, which we love to see. And we have in fact identified the left midfielder we want to bring to the Tough Sheep Community Stadium, and that man is Mikey Moore, currently playing for Torino. He is 19 years old, he is 76 rated, his stats are great, he's got a 4-star week foot, which we love to see. And he's actually very affordable, as the max we're going to pay for him is 18.5 million, but I'm confident we can get that price down and we could have an absolute superstar on our hands here. And Mikey Moore joins the club for £15 million, and I think this is the most exciting deal we've done so far. So in the excitement of bringing all these players to the club, we have sold a few players as well, and we have managed to recuperate a nice amount of transfer budget. Kicking things off, Kyle Dempsey has left the club to San Jose Earthquakes for 610 grand. Nathan Baxter rejected a new contract with rotation playing basis, so we've had to sell him. He has gone to Gil Vicente for 5.5 million. Carlos Mendes Gomez is no longer good enough, as we are now in the Premier League, and we have sold him to Sunderland for 1.4 million. And the same goes for Will Forrester, who has left to New York City for 1.2 million. And we have also sent academy graduate Dexter Manning out on loan for the season. And we now have £19 million, which I am going to use to bring in another centre-back. And we have identified El Chadile Bitshabu of Monaco. He is 22-year-old, he is 76 rated, he's 6'5", which we love to see. Really good defensive stats, but that is about it. And we can definitely afford him, as the max Monaco are going to ask for is 14.8 million. He's a much more defensive-minded defender than our other 2 centre-backs, and I think he will be perfect at 6'5" in the middle of our back 3. And Bitshabu joins the club for £13 million, which will be the last deal of our transfer window. And with Trafford, Dodds, Bitshabu and more added to the first team, this will be the Bolton Wanderers team to take us into season 4 and our first in the Premier League. This squad does look strong on paper, full of really good high potential youngsters, and really I do think the sky is the limit for this team, but this season is all about consolidation. We need to not get relegated, which I'm pretty confident we won't do. Now, the only other transfer activity that will be taking place is youth players being loaned out, which I'm more than likely just going to do off camera. We are now simulating forward straight through to the end of season 4, and Premier League survival is the goal. So we have reached the end of season 4 and we have actually had an outstanding season, as we have finished 9th in the Premier League on 56 points, and we were literally 10 points off a Champions League place and 4 points off a guaranteed Europa League place. Our performance in the Premier League this season has been absolutely outstanding, and now we need to start putting the building blocks in place to make us a Champions League club. In the FA Cup, we were knocked out by Manchester United on penalties. No shame in that. Hopefully we can have a better run next season. So this is the Bolton team at the end of season 4, and it is definitely looking very strong. Bergvall is now 86 rated and James Trafford is now 84. 94 rated. Them two are by far our best players. They've also got some real quality players at the club as well, like Raksaki, Bowman, Doyle and Wheatley. Now, as we've already mentioned, it's time to start making us a Champions League level side. Now, when it comes to signings in season 5, I'm going to give Dodds and Bitshuba another season to develop. Where we're going to focus all of our money really is replacing Aaron Collins up front. He is now 31-year-old. He's 79 rated. He isn't going to grow by much more. Maybe even may start decreasing in overall very soon. I think if we spend a big chunk of our money bringing in a strike partner for Wheatley, who can also develop at the same rate that Wheatley is, this is definitely going to help us get in the Champions League. And because we finished 9th, I don't think our budget's going to be anything too extraordinary, so we may only be able to make one signing in season 5. Now, in terms of stats, Ethan Wheatley was fantastic this season, getting 19 goals and 4 assists, and Collins again, he just continues to impress me. 17 Premier League goals this season. However, at 31-year-old and 79 rated, it is definitely time to replace him. And one final bit of news, club legend Ricardo Santos will be leaving the club as he is retiring at the end of the season. What a servant he's been for Bolton. So let's now get into season 5 and start working towards a European place. So we've arrived in season 5, and like I predicted, the budget is not that good. We've only got £45 million, meaning we're probably only going to be able to bring in one player this summer. Now, Terry wanted me to send a scout to Nigeria to try and find the next JJ Okocha. Well, we have done just that. We did send a scout to Nigeria, and he did bring us back some decent players. Now, our scout did not manage to find anyone who is quite as good as JJ Okocha, or can be as good as JJ was. However, he did find 3 players that I am quite excited about: Chidi Mohammed, Julius John and Andrew Akpan, with Akpan being the pick of the bunch. We're going to get these players developed, send them out on loan, and hopefully in a few seasons time they're running around the first team picture. But just because there was no regen in our academy doesn't mean we can't bring an absolute Nigerian superstar to Bolton Wanderers, just like Big Sam did with JJ, as we have brought Gift Orban to the club for £40 million. He's 26-year-old, 83 rated, love the look of his stats, and trust me boys, this deal has left us with 0 in our bank account, so we're going to have to sell 1 or 2 players to renew some contracts. But Gift Orban is such a good signing, and with Orban in the team and with Batshuba and Dodds already growing in the off-season, squad is looking very strong, and maybe we can sneak into a Europa League spot at least this season. Now, as one Nigerian striker joins the club, one Nigerian striker leaves the club. Victor Adebayo has left the club to Stoke City for £1.8 million. Now, in all honesty, the only other transfers that will take place right now are us trying to get our Nigerian youth academy players out on loan, which I am just going to do off camera. I'm fairly content to say that is our season 5 transfer window done, but what a signing we have made with Orban. So with the transfer window closed, there is nothing left to do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 5. So we've arrived at the end of season 5, boys, and I genuinely do not know whether to laugh or cry, as we have finished 5th in the Premier League on 70 points, meaning for the first time since 2008, Bolton Wanderers are back in Europe. But at what cost, boys? We were 1 point outside of the top 4. We were the highest scorers in the league for back-to-back seasons, getting 93 goals, and we had a 35 goal difference, meaning we've got the best goal difference in the league as well. If we got just 1 more point, we would have been playing Champions League next season, which is absolutely gut-wrenching. In the FA Cup, we made it to the 5th round where we got knocked out by Leeds United, and we have not actually had a good run yet in the FA Cup, and I'm starting to get slightly worried. Season 6, we have to be better in the Cup. So this is the Bolton Wanderers team at the end of season 5, and it is starting to look like a real world-class team. Bergvall is almost 90 rated, and he is our star man. Wheatley, Doyle and Trafford all going really nicely as well. Every single player in the starting lineup is now above 80 rated, which we love to see. However, we are now competing in European competitions. Looking at our back 3, there's no real standout world-class centre-back. Doyle is well on his way to becoming a world-class centre-back, but as of right now, he isn't quite that man. I think we need to go out into the transfer window, bring in a world-class centre-back who's above 85 rated and got experience in European competition. And if we have any leftover money at all, I may look to bring in a central midfielder to replace Thomason, but I'm not too sure what the budget's going to be. Our bench for season 5 was quite strong, with players like Toll, Sean and Collins on there who could make a difference. Throughout this entire rebuild, the bench has been a bit of a weak point, but we've just not had them finances in to make multiple signings in one window and improve the quality of our bench. Now, in terms of stats, our new front two were incredible this season. Ethan Wheatley is now going. He's going to become a world-class striker. 47 games, 41 goals, 10 assists. That is insane. And Gift Orban, we said we wanted to bring someone with Nigerian flair like JJ Okocha to the club. Orban got 29 goals and 19 assists. It's safe to say that our two strikers really did carry us this season. So season 5 was actually an excellent season. We've got into a European competition, it's just not the Champions League. So season 6 we need to get a world-class defender through the door and try to get into the Champions League places. So we've arrived in season 6 and we've finally got a massive transfer budget. We've got £148 million. Thank God. I definitely think we can bring a central midfielder and a centre-back to the football club in this window. And we are wasting absolutely no time. We're getting stuck straight into the transfers. The first player we've identified is 25-year-old Lucas Beraldo, who is 85 rated and got really nice stats. He has plenty of experience playing in European competitions, as he's played for PSG and Wolfsburg, and this could actually be a pretty good deal, as we're going to be paying anywhere between 53 and 71 million pounds. I'm going to try and meet Wolfsburg in the middle ground, and that would probably leave us with about 70 million to bring in a central midfielder. And what a deal we have got, as Beraldo comes through the door for just 55 million. That is an insane deal, and we have still got 88 million in the bank to bring in a central midfielder, and I am absolutely buzzing right now. So the next area of the squad we want to improve is the central midfield position, and we have identified Andre Santos, currently playing for Marseille in France. He's 84 rated, 25-year-old. The stats are so well rounded, every single stat above 75. The perfect box-to-box midfielder for our system, and we can get him for relatively cheap, as the max we're going to pay for him is 57.6 million. But I'm very confident we can get that price down and bring Santos to the Tough Sheet Stadium. And once again, we've got an incredible deal, just 44 million for Santos. And after the signing of Santos, we do still have 41 million in the bank, so we're not yet done in this window. So as we know, we're left with 40 million in the bank, and looking at our bench, we don't really have many options in the wide areas. Raksaki and Moore have got Sean and Osei Tutu as backups. Don't really think these two are good enough to be playing in Europe, so with the remainder of our 40 million, we are going to bring in a new wide player. And we have identified the wide man we want to bring to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. And that man is Tyreek George, currently playing for Southampton. His stats are really decent, 4-star, 4-star. Some play styles as well. He falls well into our price range, as the max we're paying for him is 32 million. And I genuinely think George will be an amazing backup to Moore and Raksaki. And after the signing of George, we're left with 18 million, meaning our transfer window is finished. And a few players have left the club in this window. George Johnston has left the club for Birmingham City for £3 million. Vladi Loas has left the club for a Turkish side for 1 million. Owen Toll has left the club for Sassuolo for 4.1 million. We are now expecting no further outgoings or incomings, so our transfer window is finished. And that starting 11 just speaks for itself. We are cooking, and I'm really hoping this team's going to get us into the Champions League. And now looking to our bench, we've got so many options like George, Dodds, Thomason, Collins, even Sean at a push, and McAtee. I'm really happy with how the squad's looking in season number 6. So as we know, this season we are in the Europa League, and we will take on some pretty decent sides in the league phase as we kick things off with a tie against Lech Poznan, which, to be honest, we should be winning. We'll also take on Lazio, which will be very difficult, Famalicão from Portugal, and Valencia as well, just to name a few. So we have got some pretty difficult ties in the Europa League, but I do think we're going to have far too much firepower. So let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 6. I'm hoping we'll be in the Champions League, and I want to see some really good performances in the FA Cup and Europa League. So we have arrived at the end of season 6, and in season 7 we will be playing Champions League football, as we have finished second in the Premier League, only 5 points off champions Manchester City, and Champions League nights are coming to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. And Bolton Wanderers are the FA Cup champions for the first time since 1958, as we smashed West Bromwich Albion 5-1 at Wembley. In the Europa League, we went 8 for 8 in the league phase, finishing on 24 points, topping the league phase out of 36 sides, only to then lose to Boavista in the round of 16. Just make it make sense. And this is the Bolton Wanderers team that has won the FA Cup and finished second, and it's clear to see why. What a team we have built here on paper. So many world-class players. This squad is absolutely brilliant, and we're going to have a real good run in the Champions League next season. I can feel it. But where do we improve the team in season 7? I think Mikey Moore has really plateaued in terms of development. He's only growing by 1 overall point per season. I'm going to bring in a world-class left midfielder, maybe bring in a backup striker as well, and then I think we are sorted for the Champions League. Now, while the team didn't score as many goals this season, we certainly conceded much less, but Ethan Wheatley was outstanding again. This guy is now 90 rated, got 40 goals and 7 assists, and his partner Orban wasn't bad as well, 22 goals, 7 assists. So we have arrived in season 7 and we have got 184 million to bring in a world-class left midfielder and a decent backup striker. And we really are not messing about in this transfer window, as our first target is an absolute superstar, Jamie bynoe-gittens, currently playing for AC Milan. He is 25-year-old, he's 86 rated, the stats are amazing, 4-star, 4-star, plenty of play styles. Could be a costly deal, as Milan could even ask for up to 100 million for him. I'm very confident we can get that price down, bring Gittens in for a good fee, and this man would take us to the next level on our left side. Jamie bynoe-gittens is in for £80 million, and this is a real statement signing. And that does leave us with 97 million in the bank, which may seem a lot. We do have to bring in a backup striker with this money, and also we have quite a few players out of contract who are going to demand massive wage increases. And that backup striker we are looking for comes in the form of Antonio Raimondo, currently playing for Leeds United. He's 26-year-old, 82 rated, really decent stats for a striker, and he is very affordable, boys. The max Leeds are going to want from him is £42 million. I think he'd be a really good rotation player for the squad. And Raimondo does sign for the club for £35 million, and I'm really happy to have an extremely good backup striker on the bench. So bynoe-gittens and Raimondo are our only bits of transfer business in this window, and we've also not let anyone leave the club. We want to keep the squad together. As we know, we are in the Champions League in season 7, and we are kicking things off with an away tie to Rangers at Ibrox. What a game that should be. We will then take on Borussia Dortmund away, so 2 amazing away trips for our fans very early on in the Champions League. We'll then go away to Barcelona. Wow, these away days, man, I'm so jealous. At home to Napoli, so do you know what? Our fixtures are not kind whatsoever. We've got the real brunt end of the stick when it comes to the Champions League, but I do think we've got so much firepower. The squad is amazing. I mean, just look at that starting 11 and look at the options we have from the bench now with George, Moore, Collins, Raimondo, Thomason, Bjorn and Dodds. This team is absolute fire, and I think we've got a really good chance of having a good season. So now there is nothing left to do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 7, and I'm really excited to see how that squad got on, because that team is so good. So we have arrived at the end of season 7, lads, and we have won the Premier League on 77 points, and for the first time in Bolton Wanderers history, they are actually the champions of England, and I'm just hoping and praying at some point in my lifetime I actually see this. We didn't have the best run in the FA Cup, only getting to the 4th round where Southampton beat us 3-2. But boys, we are in the Champions League final, and we are going to be taking on Atletico Madrid. We had a fairly impressive league phase as we finished 6th out of 36 clubs. In the round of 16, we comfortably beat Monaco 6-3 over 2 legs. In the quarterfinals, we took on Wolfsburg, who we beat 5-3 over 2 legs in a much closer game. And then we would be drawn to Feyenoord in the semi-finals, who we beat 6-2 over 2 legs. So we actually had a pretty decent run to the final. Monaco, Wolfsburg and Feyenoord, it could have been much harder than that, and we will take on Atletico Madrid. Now, this is the Bolton Wanderers team that has got us to a Champions League final. Our back three is looking pretty tired, which is a bit of a concern, but the starting 11 is an absolute joke. We have got 3 90 rated players in the team in Wheatley, Bowman and Bergvall. Orban, bynoe-gittens, Beraldo, Santos, Bitshuba, Trafford. What a team this is, and I'm really confident heading into the final. And when it comes to the stats, wow, 3 players really stood out. Ethan Wheatley carried on doing what he does best, 32 goals and 7 assists. Gift Orban had a great season, getting 28 goals and 9 assists. But I want to talk about Jamie bynoe-gittens, his first season as a Bolton Wanderers player. He scored 23 times and got 9 assists. That is absolutely insane. So it is now Champions League final time, and we have got Atletico Madrid standing in our way. So it's Champions League final time, boys. We're taking on Atletico Madrid, already into the thick of the action. Lads, let's just get the job done, but let's not let Atletico Madrid score in the first couple of minutes. And Molina could be in here for Atletico Madrid. Oh, could be in. What a tackle by Doyle. And he's going to pull it back for an earlier foul. There was definitely a foul in the build-up there. And that is a very early warning sign from Atletico Madrid of what they are capable of. Bergvall, this is a good chance. Gittens down the line. Good touch. Wheatley, we're going to score. He's going to score. He's missed. Oh my God. Ethan Wheatley, who has been slamming goals home in a Bolton Wanderers shirt, misses a massive chance to put us 1-0 up. Wheatley. Oh, what a ball. And Gittens is in. And we're not missing this time. It's another sweaty goal as Bergvall puts us 1-0 up in the Champions League final. A half of not many chances, both team defences cutting each other out, but bynoe-gittens squares the ball and Bergvall plants into the top corner. Molina could be in here. Oh, what a block by Beraldo. That's a big moment. That is a big, big moment. Atletico probably should be back on level terms. Corner. Whipped in. That's going to be the keepers. Well done, James Trafford. Excellent first half from Bolton. Our defence has been really good. Some big blocks. But we are 1-0 up in the Champions League final. Molina. Oh, he's put it over the bar. Molina. That's an early warning sign from Atletico in this second half. We have had a really poor start to this half. Get across. Oh, the defence is wide open. What a save by Trafford, but they put the rebound in. We've just gone completely to sleep in this second half. Gift Orban. Oh, he's got the pace. Wheatley, he's not made the run. I want him to square it. I have squared it. It's 2-1. Ethan Wheatley with the goal. Brilliant breakaway by Gift Orban. And if the option is on, I'm always going to square it. Ethan Wheatley still had to finish it. And what a finish it was. We are back in the lead. It is 2-1 in the final. Santos up to Molina. Oh, he's through the gap. But Doyle is there. Great clearance. That's what we need. What a tackle. What a tackle. Those big gaps. Oh, no. Molina could be in. What a block by Santos again. Go on Wheatley. It don't matter, the game is over. Bolton Wanderers are the champions of Europe. We definitely had to hold on there at the end. Atletico through the kitchen sink at us. But goals from Bergvall and Wheatley bring the Champions League trophy to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. And the Champions League trophy has been lifted, boys. Callum Doyle did the honours. The man who's been here for so long. Bolton Wanderers are the champions of Europe. So I just want to say a massive thank you for watching the video, boys. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as it does help me out. We are trying to get 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I will see you next week when we take on our first challenge rebuild of FC25 with a club who are absolutely stinking out the championship.